Hello team, I'm Colonel Failure and this is the Colonel Reduced for November 20 whatever it is. Right then, lots and lots and lots and lots to get through today because it's a busy old time and hang on, I'm on the wonk. If I do that, is everything going to fall apart? No, it hasn't. Right, no longer on the wonk. Let's get this show on the road. First item on my list. Hello! Good. Right, that's that out of the way. Tick. Next up, I've passed 30,000 subscribers. Brilliant. Love it. Great stuff. And it actually happened about 2 or 3 weeks earlier than was expected. Largely due to a very nice surge that I've had in the last month or so. Probably 2 months actually. I've just come off the second or third biggest week that I've ever had, and that's including the big Transport Fever launch period. So it's all looking rather buoyant. And I'm rather buoyant as a result of that. So thank you very much for subscribing. Woohoo! I also passed 200 backers on Patreon last month. I'm now back below 200 backers on Patreon, but hey, I passed it ever so briefly. Every month that rolls around, a few of you bail out, and that's absolutely fine. It's one of those things. I've got the Motorsport series is ticking along quite nicely. I'm pretty sure you guys like it. Pretty sure. But sling a comment under this one. Stick it on Patreon, stick it on YouTube, stick it anywhere you flaming well please, and let me know what you think. Is Motorsport the right exclusive series? I'm going to finish this one off this season, and then I'm going to open it to the floor. For you to decide what the next exclusive series is. Anything that I've played before, basically. Not something I haven't played before, because I'll do that. I'll do that publicly. You know, there's potential views in there. But yeah, Motorsport, I'm enjoying playing it. But as ever, it always takes a couple of seasons before your team gets any good. So I can continue it quite happily, but I'll leave that up to you. Right, what's going on? So I finished the Colonists series. I enjoyed it. It's good fun. It was a little limited in a commentary sense in terms of keeping it engaging, keeping it fun. I think actually the last episode, the one that went 1 hour and 20 minutes, that was the first thing I recorded after my throat recovered, and I was expecting to be done in under 45 minutes. It ended up taking almost 1 hour and a half. And as a result, I got a little irate with my little robots. And me getting a little irate apparently is quite good, according to herself. She says you being quite irate is quite good. She also says I need to smile more in the end things, because apparently I smile quite a lot, apart from when I'm doing stuff on the internet. So there you go. So look, I'm even making an effort now. I've got a smile in my face and joy in my eyes and all of that kind of business. Yes, good. So the Colonists, done with that. I've still got Tropico to finish off. I don't know if I'll get round to it, to be honest, for reasons that will become apparent quite quickly. I like playing Tropico, and frankly, it really leans into the kind of stuff that I'm good at, in a sense of making commentary. But I want to get around to it, but I have a very, very full agenda, ridiculously full, that I'm actually struggling to figure out how I'm going to get through. And I'll get to that in a minute. Project Hospital, that's ticking along quite nicely. It's not doing gangbusters views. It's doing perfectly acceptable numbers of views. The first episode has done like 15,000 now. No, it's pushing 20,000, I think. And that's remarkably good. Hooray. It's converted a few new subscribers. Hooray. I think the series is going to lose its energy a little bit, but this ties into something else that I'm going to talk about in a minute. I'm all over the place a little bit in terms of the narrative of the Reduced today, so you'll bear with me. It will all make sense. And then there's Software Inc. I want to do 2 more parts of Software Inc. because I've got something special in mind. but I'm not quite there yet. So many different things, and it all happened in just such a big surge of stuff coming out. Software Inc. I'd intended to stick with and just play through right up to Project Hospital coming out, and then of course the Colonists landed, and I saw an opportunity there to be, one amongst few who covered that at launch. I'd intended to do a reasonably complicated level and make a meal out of it. Mission accomplished, but of course that just threw everything else out of whack. What I have noticed lately is that having a strong B series, where you're doing 4 or more episodes in the B series each week, actually that makes quite a considerable difference. So what are we talking about? Tropico, Software Inc., Project Hospital. I need to get those done and dusted and out of my system. So that we can move on to bigger things. Just does that on itself, So I've got an early access to another game coming up at the start of next week, which is Phoenix Point, for those of you who aren't aware of it, is an XCOM-like by the maker of XCOM, the original maker of XCOM. It looks very much like the rebooted XCOM that we've all been enjoying for the last couple of years. So I'm going to pile in on that. People seem to enjoy the Achtung Cthulhu that I played. Even though it was a one-off, it was a bit long, it was a bit repetitive, but there were some flashes of fun in there, and it got a good number of views because I was one amongst few. So Phoenix Point will be out next week on launch day. The first video will be out. If I feel good about the first video, I'll elongate it a little, and then it will depend on how many viewers does it get. If it only does the kind of the 2,000 to 3,000, which is my standard kind of B series stuff, I'll try and wrap that fairly quickly, because hot on the heels of Phoenix Point is Satisfactory. Now, I'm on the list of influential types for that. I don't have access to it yet. But when I do, I will be given a little bit of a run-up, and then I'll be one of few who are actually covering it. I think it's few, could be loads. But for those of you not aware of the game, Satisfactory is basically Factorio in 3D and in first person. It looks very, very, very pretty indeed. And this then, are we good? Yes, we are. We're coming on to my next point. And this then comes on to my next point, which is a long-term game. I'm looking for a non-released yet long-term game that I can stick with in the way that I did with Transport Fever, so that I eventually owned that whole show, more or less. Because that's where the big growth comes from, right? And you can see already in the number of views that I get on different videos each week. The majority of my subscribers turn up to watch Transport Fever. That's fine by me. I bloody love Transport Fever. And therefore continuing to cover it is actually a good engine to keep the channel ticking forward. More than that, however, is that you can get a nice pickup on subs by doing a new series on something, by doing some new coverage. So I am working on a few ideas for one-shot videos. And I make the reference regularly, but think Descenders, think House Flipper, a one-shot, well-edited, reasonably funny. I need to tighten them up. I need to condense my funny into 20 minutes or less, and I struggle to do so, because when it comes to editing, I kind of go, well, no, this is all quite pithy, and therefore you need the kind of subdued tittering in order to build towards a big laugh. Ta-da! Well, actually, that's rubbish. You can just kind of go big laugh, big laugh, big laugh, as long as it's condensed enough that you don't need a lead up, that it just works. So yeah, so I've got some format stuff to play with on that front. I'll probably share it with Officers Club, kind of rough cut bits and pieces on that front. Also on the subject of Officers Club, I've got coming up for you as soon as I get round to it. I am just so busy. I'm just having such a trouble staying on top of the games that I'm not getting to do the bigger stuff. I'd intended to have a full new trailer for the channel ready to go alongside 30k. Yeah, that didn't work, did it? No, I needed a new trailer for Patreon for a year or more at least, and this is all on my kind of freaking hectic to-do list. But you know, I'll figure it out. I'll get there, and then once I get there, then we'll discuss. Okay, all right, yeah, you, me, discussion, bosh. Good, right. So that's all of that. That's the kind of stuff that's bubbling around. The other thing that's happened this month is that I've had the join button on YouTube has now been enabled. The join button, for those of you who don't know, it's effectively like subscribing to someone on Twitch, except you're subscribing to someone on YouTube, and it's a $5 a month, and you get some perks. Now, what was slowing me down on the perks side of things was I was unable to post any private messages to the people who joined. So people had just basically flung a $5 at me in order to get a nice little icon next to their name when I do live stuff. I've now been able to figure out how to make that work. Oddly enough, it was Chrome. Chrome was giving me trouble. It wasn't allowing me to post privately. But now I went, oh, well, actually, I'll try a different browser. And lo and behold, it works fine. So welcome to those of you who are non-Patreon, but you are instead YouTube joiners. This is part of your extra bundle of goodness. Ah, you lucky devils. You are very splendid individuals, and I warmly welcome you to the party. There are 11 of you at time of recording, you magnificent people. For those of you who are also Patreon backers and also have decided to hit the join button on YouTube, you're mad. Yeah, I don't know why you've done it, but you have, and you're marvellous as a result of that. So the overlap is going to be, if I could offer everything to both sides perfectly equally, I would do. The only thing I can't offer Patreon folk are the icons that say that you're a backer on YouTube. That's frustrating, but there is nothing I can do about it. But nobody's going to miss out on anything. So the exclusive series and reduced and access to Discord and all of the Bad Company games and all of that kind of stuff. If you're a joiner, a channel member is what YouTube wants me to call you, but I'm going to come up with something even more illustrious. You too are part of the Fail Brigade. Which is still a plan, which is still coming. But yes, you're all Fail Brigaders together, and you're all going to get the same stuff. I'm just going to have to figure out the right kind of pulse to release stuff onto YouTube. But there's no... I consider them equal. Obviously, if you're in Officers Club or Colonel School or you're in the exec group, then that's the same business as normal. And that all takes place over on Patreon. Fabulous. I'm probably going to ditch Patreon at some point, just so as you know, and move to my own platform. I'm pretty sure my own platform already exists. Hold on a tick. That. Have I stuck anything on there? No, I haven't. Okay, never mind that then. I haven't got around to that yet. But you can go see the front page of failbrigade.com if you like. That was kernelfailure.com I was just looking at. I've got the domain. I've got hosting. I just haven't had the time to put it together yet. But I'm going to go through a completely different system that hopefully will give me flexibility to offer a stack load more things. Stack. Probably about that high of more things is what I want to offer. For those of you who do Patreon primarily, I had to change up the last milestone that we went through because it was actually in violation of Patreon's T's and C's. I'm not allowed to do giveaways unless it's to absolutely everyone. I don't have the ability to give away to absolutely everyone. So I am working on a few ideas to do some giveaways because I am sat on a whole stack of keys that you people might enjoy. It's simply a case of getting around to flummoxing them up there. And I've got a concept that might work with that, but I've got to get around to doing it. Having ideas, easy. Executing the ideas, difficult. I gesture with large arms in that way that I so frequently do. So there you go. So that's all of that. I'm rattling through this. What else? Sports ball. Okay, if you're in Discord, you can't have avoided sports ball so far. It's an American football game that several of us are playing. When I say several of us, I mean 30 of us, 32 of us are playing. Well, actually, it's 29 plus a couple of invited guests who also do. They do Football Manager. They're Football Manager YouTubers, and I'm going to start yelling at them shortly and going like, "How about you knock some of this out on YouTube?" I've got an episode I need to edit together. My hope is that I'll get around to doing that either today or tomorrow and stick it out over the weekend. I don't intend to make it a regular thing, but for those playing, their name in lights might be quite good fun, despite the fact that I am currently the best team in the league. Yeah, I'm not even joking, bruv. I am most definitely winning. Number 2 ranked offense, number 1 ranked defense. Oh, yes. It won't last, so I'm gloating while I still have the opportunity to do so. So sports ball's great. For those who are in at the moment, if you want to bail out at any point, you can do. Just let me know, because then I can find someone to take over your team. If you're not going to be around for a couple of weeks and you just want to leave it kind of bubbling away, let me know. And that way I don't kind of go, this team is not being properly managed, and I extricate you from the thing and give it to somebody else. It doesn't matter. And if you get it all wrong and it's all going horrible, don't worry about it. Everybody wants to help out, because what we're all looking for is a strong sense of competition and some laughs and jazz. We all want jazz, don't we? Anyway, that's sports ball. So that'll transition. That's going to run for a few seasons. I'm probably not going to make a big song and a dance about it on video, unless for some reason people are really into it. I'm going to try and build up the narrative of the thing. It might make for quite a nice, little 10-minute Saturday show, something like that. And if it's popular, I'm going to keep doing it, because why wouldn't you? But it's free to play. So even if you're not in right now, if you fancy, cutting your teeth on it, and then when there's a seat open, transitioning over into the Electro Sports League, because of course it's called Electro Sports, then ask in Discord and we'll sort you out with the necessary. Right, good. That's sports ball out of the way. There is a prize. Sports ball, the winner of the equivalent, the Electro Sports Thunderball Dome, whatever I've called it, I'm going to send him a Colonel Failure baseball cap. And that's the segue. Merchandise is coming. I've done some of it. I've got the rest of it to do. But I'm putting a full suite of merchandise out, all sorts of odds and ends, including, and I forget who it is who always asks for it, a pocketed T-shirt. It was something that was requested. They don't have pocketed kind of short sleeve shirts. They've got a pocketed kind of regular T-shirt thing, so I'll stick that out there. The good news is that for US personages who want a bit of Colonel Failure merch on their personage, or give it to your loved ones, they will thank you endlessly. I'm certain they will constantly thank you. Is that I'm using a US distributor now, so it should be significantly less offensive when it comes to shipping costs, and also the cost of everything will come down as a result of that, because US merchandise prices are significantly cheaper than European ones. So for Europeans, it should work out about the same as when I was using Spreadshirt, maybe a little bit less actually. The shipping is going to be higher, but the cost of the merch should be less. That's the thinking. But hats and shirts and an apron. I'm doing a Colonel Failure apron, and I want one because it goes. What was step 1, acquire ingredients. Step 2, set fire to it. Step 3, bada bing. Still working on the formatting for that, but you get the general idea. I know that's a gag related to Eco, which is something I haven't played for 6 months. So arguably that gag done. It's over with. And it was herself pointed out to me that if during the week where I was just banging on about a space train the entire time, I came out with a T-shirt that said space train on the front of it, I might have been able to flog a couple of Space Train t-shirts. But now, Space Train, thing of the past, until the next Space Train, which I'm hoping, actually, Space Train will come along with Satisfactory. It was in the original trailer, so, fingers crossed. But yeah, long-term series. Don't know, working on it. Got lots of ideas. Just need to execute them. Cool. Right, so that's merch. I'll let you know when it's coming along. There will probably be a Bad Company / Fail Brigade discount coupon on that as well. Because, that's what shops do. I should know. I've been working in a digital store for the last 2 years. Oh, yeah, all right. Let's slot that in. And I come to the end. Excuse me. That wasn't a stage cough. That was just a tickly throat thing. I come to the end of my time working in a digital game shop at the end of November, the end of this month, at which point I'm all freelance and stuff and working hither and yon. But what that also gets me is a bit of free time. Unless someone snaps me up in the interim. I'm fortunate in that I've got masses of experience in what I do, and therefore I can get some consulting work and that kind of thing. But if I can make the pennies work, I might be able to go a little bit more time towards all of this video malarkey. I mean, I've made no secret out of the fact that video malarkey is now what I want to be doing, alongside Mirror State. Now, I've not mentioned, I've kind of alluded to Mirror State in the past. So Mirror State is a game that I run. Haven't run it in a little while, actually, but it's a live game, and it's the easiest way to describe it is a large-scale board game. If you look for a game called Watch the Skies by a website called Shut Up and Sit Down, they did a 2-part video. It's called Watch. I'll try and stick it. If I remember, I'll stick it in the description. I'll stick a link to it. If you go watch that, I run those. Not that particular game. I run other ones that I've designed along with a couple of people that I've worked with in the past. We've got some new games coming out next year, and I will feature those on the YouTube channel, and I will probably offer some kind of a way, and I don't know why I've dropped in this accent, I'll probably offer some kind of fashion for you to be able to come along, again with some kind of discount thing going on in there. But yeah, being able to do 50% of my time YouTube, 50% of my time Mirror State would be marvellous. Follow Mirror State on Facebook, and you can get a sense of what it is we're up to. We're about to start pimping our new game, which the first run is next year. It's going to be highly dramatic, and it involves trains. Yeah, I know. Wonders never cease. What else? What else? I need to restart the camera. That's what else. What else? On the subject of trains, I need to be doing some more train sim. There's a new train sim world expansion out soon, and I'm intending to cover that because that's always good fun. I've also got the technology to be able to do my passenger announcements live with all the vocal effects and stuff. So I might stream one at some point. More streaming is something I'm most definitely intending to do. I think, in fact, I'm 99% certain I've settled on YouTube as my streaming platform now. I have tried others. I might go to Caffeine once they're a little bit more open in terms of the games you can play. But I like the Caffeine kind of chat interface, but we'll see how that gets on. But YouTube, for the time being, is where I stream, just because it seems to help reinforce the overall kind of channel performance. And more streaming is going to be coming up. I need to book in a regular streaming date or dates each month, and that's, so far it's proved difficult to do because it's a big block of time that anything else could be occurring in, and it's inconvenient to people who share this magnificent computer facility with myself, which at the moment is herself, and the Jolly Herberts when the Jolly Herberts are around at weekends. So streaming can be inconvenient. The Minecraft game we played a couple of weeks ago was phenomenally good fun, even though it didn't work properly. And that was not the game not working properly, although it was a little bit shonky in places. It was more that I'd made the map too big, or I'd set the play area too big, so nobody actually found anyone else's base. Because it really does get to be silly fun when you are charging around trying not to get blown up. We will run that game again. I invite you to come and join it. No, you're not too cool to play Minecraft, and you know it. And next time we will run two teams of people rather than multiple teams, and and we'll play in a very small play area, and we'll do a bit more aggressive on the build and all of that kind of stuff. And I'll probably spectate next time so that you can get a feel for the whole thing. But that was such good fun that we'll definitely do it again. The next one I want to play, however, is 7 Days to Die. I've got a good concept for that. I'm probably going to partner with Vectrix to make that happen. But it's a one-off event. We'll need a little bit of building time, which we'll do first, and then we will go, or will we? Or we'll do that off the camera. But yeah, it's a special event. I've had the concept sitting in my brain box for a little while, and that's going to be great fun. And the next game after that is probably going to be Elite Dangerous. Again, I've had a concept that I've been sat on for a while, and also I might be able to persuade his Stegnus out of retirement to come and play it with us, because the Stegs has just moved jobs again, and as a result of that, he is only allowed to stream or record games that are from the company he works for, which is why he might be able to join us in Elite Dangerous. I didn't tell you that, but that's the Steg situation. All right, so keep that to yourself. He'll tell you in no short. He'll tell you at some point. I mean, he starts there in like a week and a bit. So yes, he's only allowed to cover stuff from Frontier, but that also includes your Planet Coaster and your Jurassic World Evolution, all of which I have, and Elite, and I've covered all of those on my channel. What I really want to be doing with him is playing the latest Spin Tires expansion, because I think that's some of the funniest stuff I've done on the channel. Just the kind of chalk and cheese of the two of us working together is just, haphazard and delightful. So there you go. So that's the Steg situation. Right, what else? I've done Bad Company games. I've done live streaming. There will be more streaming. Premieres. We did a premiere of... What did I premiere? It might have been a Transport Fever. No, I don't think it was. Whatever it was that I premiered, if you were there, what did you think? I don't necessarily want to do it too often, but if you thought that it was great fun to be part of the chat while the premiere was going on, it was a little bit tech dubious at the start, but it worked, and I had nothing to do. That wasn't me. That wasn't my fault. That was all down to yonder YouTube there and its technical wizardry not quite being able to alakazam. Yeah, let me know what you thought if you saw that. If it does prove popular, then I'll also do some that it's a more friendly time for those of you who aren't European. I know the Australians, it's a bit hit or miss with Australia, given that it's early morning for you guys rather than extending into the evening. And then equally, or no, it's very late at night in Australia. Or very early morning versus the US, where I'll work on some time zone magic to try and make that happen. Historically, when I've run worldwide stuff, and this is going back a decade or more, 11 p.m. GMT has always ended up being the most convenient time for everybody. Well, that's okay if you're a night owl, but then the Europeans start going, I'm going to sleep now. Can't be helped. The final Bad Company game that will be coming up soon is going to be Stellaris. I want to do that alongside the new expansion when that lands, because I think that'll be a lot of fun. I'll give everybody a day or two to kind of warm up on that, and then we'll either do a big streamed game, but what I'd really like to do on that front would be to to play it over, to get a full game done over a couple of days. So if you're unable to commit to all the days, what we'll probably do is we'll have hot seat races. So you and a partner can play as Team A, and as many people as necessary to make sure that your team is perfectly controlled. No, I don't think that's going to work either. But we'll certainly give it a jolly good try and see how we go with that. Is there anything else I need to tell you? I said I had a packed schedule, and I've managed to rattle through it simply by talking really quickly. I say it's odd how these things go. I've got a second outro mega mix that's in the works for Officers Club as well. Sorry you guys have been without anything exclusive. I'm putting together a behind the scenes on the new trailer, because the new trailer is something a little bit more refined than I've done previously. What else? I've got something really cool coming for Colonel School, but if you're in the Discord already, you know about that. No, I think that's your lot. I think I'm done. Flipping heck, 30 some odd minutes, and we're in and out and shake it all about. I've been Colonel Failure. You've been flipping lovely. Thank you very much for your support. You are absolute diamonds, every last one of you. I want to stroke your hair and tell you that everything will be all right and feed you grapes. If you're not allergic to grapes. If you are allergic to grapes, we'll find some chocolate or something. Anyway, I'll catch up with you next month. Motorsport returns on Sunday in that way that it so often does, and I will see you there in the comments where you tell me that I'm playing it wrong. Thanks for watching. Cheerio.